Hello everyone, I'm back today with another video. I know it's been a hot minute since I have filmed an encouraging video, so I'm back today because I have been so encouraged lately and I just want to share it with all of y'all or whoever's watching this video, whoever wants to listen. You're about to be encouraged and it is going to be through Romans today because I finished Luke and I don't know why, I just went to Romans and I'm so happy I did because it is so good right now. So I'm currently in chapter 4 and Paul, who wrote the book of Romans, is speaking about Abraham and the promise that God made to Abraham. So the theme of this video is going to be God's promises, because in this little section that I had just read last night, I was able to see God's promise, and then it made me start to realize God's promises in my life and how they're being fulfilled, and it's so awesome. So I'm just gonna get straight into it today. We're gonna start in chapter 4, verses 13 to 25. This is the entire section that I read last night, and I would definitely encourage y'all to go ahead and read that entire section. But right now, I'm just gonna kind of give you a little overview and then read verses 19 through 21, just because those gave the biggest, those had the biggest impact on me. But right now, this little overview that I'm going to give you is about Abraham, who was promised by God that he would be the father of all nations, as in he would have many children. Those children reproduce and all this stuff. So you have the world, who all came from Abraham. And God told Abraham this when he was young. And now, in this point where Paul is talking, Abraham is over 100 years old, and so is Sarah, his wife. But Abraham didn't lose faith. He knew that God promised him something, and that if God promised him something, it would happen. But you got to think about the circumstances. You got to think, if you were in the situation, if you would get discouraged. Because I mean, if you're 100 years old, or your wife or your husband is 100 years old, and you still haven't had any children, it might be discouraging, because you're like, I don't know if my body works in the same way. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to have babies when I am 100 years old. But they knew that God promised them that they would have children, and so they didn't lose faith. So I'm gonna read verses 19 through 21, because this is just what hit me so hard. So talking about Abraham, it says, and not being weak in faith, he did not consider his own body already dead, since he was about 100 years old, and the deadness of Sarah's womb. He did not waver at the promise of God through unbelief, but was strengthened in faith, giving glory to God, and being fully convinced that what God had promised, God was also able to perform. So I just want to take a second to talk about that, because I love that verse 21 where it says Abraham was fully convinced, not just kind of convinced, I'll believe it when it happens. No, he was fully convinced that what God promised him was going to happen, God was going to do. And I think that's something so important that we have to have in our lives. We have to have that full convincing manner, just to know that whatever God has promised you, it's going to happen. And I think that if you do that, you'll have so much peace in your life, because you won't have to worry about anything. And you just know, God has your back. He's got you. And if he told you he was going to do something, you can bet your bottom dollar that he's going to do it. Because God is amazing, and he's real, and he loves you, and he can do so many things that if he told you he was going to do that, he'll do it. And also, I just want to say that for me personally, I have totally seen this in my life, because if I look at where I was at maybe in February, March time compared to where I'm at right now, I've seen so many promises fulfilled. And yeah, it took a little while, but now I just cherish those promises even more than I did before, because I know that God fulfilled and God was faithful, and I'm so excited to see what else he's going to promise me and what else he's going to show me. And I think that's such an encouragement, because there's always something to look forward to with Jesus, and he is true and he's right. And I just wanted to kind of convey that today, because it's been encouraging me and I wanted it to encourage y'all. And I just want to say that I'm heading to Cambodia in 2 weeks, so be ready for a vlog, be ready for a bunch of craziness. I'm excited. This is one of the promises God fulfilled, so stay tuned. I'll see y'all hopefully very soon. So have a good day, have a good life, and be blessed.